Hello Pisces, how's everybody doing today? I hope that your day is getting off to a good start. Really great to see you, and we're going to be taking a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, hopefully helping you with all of the opportunities, all of the challenges that are coming your way. And my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, by the way. This little furry partner here is Apollo, and as I said, we'll be looking at the next month. A lot of what we're going to look at will resonate with this period in time, especially the channeled messages, and then the rest of it as we look towards future opportunities will be 6 to 8 weeks out. So let me put down this little fluffy guy and we'll get started. There you go, buddy. And let me show you also what is in store today. So this can be used for your sun, rising, moon, Venus, and also if you happen to know other aspects of your chart, you can use it for that. If you want to look on behalf of somebody that you know in your life, you're also welcome. And as I always like to remind folks, you can come to any of my readings if you just need some information. The way that I work as a clairvoyant is I pick up on whoever's going to attend, so everybody receives a message. You'll see the schedule right here. I start with channeled messages, which come through dreams. A little sneak peek into that. Today I saw a cat, and I should have grabbed this picture. I used to own a tabby cat as a kid. If I can pull it up, maybe towards the end I will. But a cat that reminded me of that came through in my dream. So we'll talk about the importance of cats and also the goddess Bastet. There's also some energy around cleaning out the past. So all of that is going to be part of the channeled messages here in just a moment. The Celtic Cross and expanded forecast work as follows. A lot of readers out there will focus solely on work or love. I let the Celtic Cross be whatever it needs to be in this moment in time. It may be a combination of those things. It may be something completely different. It's basically whatever your soul wants to bring forth. I'll read that. Then I look at health, wealth, love, and destiny to make sure that we don't miss out on those areas that I know everybody cares about. After that, we'll look at the big idea. And the big idea is basically one thing that you can really focus on to bring about blessings, to bring about great opportunities. Then we will look at blessings and blocks. These are things that you want to either embrace or possibly try to avoid. And viewer's choice always, and the reader's choice, a chance for both of us to kind of dig a little deeper in everything that we've looked at. And then I always like to wrap up with something special, a meditation. On the weekend, we did something really nice, which was a meditation for peace in the world right now. It's something I'm sure we can all get behind. And I might light an extra candle today for that. So if you want to help at the end and kind of set some intentions for peace, we'll do that. But we'll also today, because it's a sign-specific one, take a look at anything that your sign needs. And there you go. If you missed my weekend collective, take a look at it. It's still good for the week ahead. It's good for all signs. And I also do an elemental breakdown. So I just finished that yesterday on Sunday. All right, so let's begin with the channeled messages. As I said, a lot of what I do comes through my own connection to spirit and dream interpretation. And there was a lot of energy around dreams this morning. So we'll get through the messages, and then maybe while you're selecting the deck today, because I'm going to let you vote, I'll see if I can pick a picture of my cat from the past. I don't know if I'll have time to get that ready, but we'll see. All right, so let me just get the presentation ready, and then we'll get into the messages. All right, so today, as I said, we're going to be looking at a few different totems here, just the domesticated cat in general, and then the goddess Bastet, because it really was a domesticated cat, not a wild one. And then the energy of cleaning up and releasing ghosts of the past, and also just sort of energetic garbage. And we'll talk about that as we get into that portion. First things first, let's talk about the cat. What's interesting about cats? Well, they're strong little creatures. They're strong, flexible bodies, quick reflexes, sharp teeth, and retractable claws. Helps them get what they want. And when I used to have my cat, which was named Mittens, what I really always wanted was was a dog, but basically my parents got me a cat instead. And so I would try to hold it and pet it, and it would just scratch me and bite me. And I had all of these claw marks on my arms. But I still love that cat. Anyway, I definitely remember the strong and quick reflexes and the claws. What's kind of cool about this, before I even kind of like break it down into some of the other things that we're going to talk about, is you have the ability to defend yourself. When I think of a cat, it's really smart, it's really fast, they're very cunning. And so this coming through in your totem can show you that you have the capacity to be quick-witted, quick-reflexed, and kind of just have the ability to jump into anything that you need to and thrive. The domestication of cats began quite a while ago, 7500 BCE. So yeah, almost 10,000, yeah, not quite 10,000 years, but it's been a while that these lovely little furry creatures have been in our lives. So there's a great magical component with it. A lot of witches and magicians, you'll see this as a familiar. My familiar is my little puppy back there, but basically this is a creature that provides protection as well. Let's talk about what naturally came to me when I thought of the cat, and it was Bastet. And interesting thing as I was digging into information about Bastet, she was originally a lioness warrior. She's also connected with the sun god Ra, but eventually, as is the case with mythology, she changed a bit and became the feline-headed goddess that we've come to know and love. But she would be then connected to strength in tarot naturally because she had the lioness energy. And the strength card, depending on which deck you use, sometimes it actually just has a lioness. The Light Seers deck has a half woman, half lioness card. But basically, this is a very powerful symbol because it shows me fierce warrior energy, also the ability to overcome what might seem like an insurmountable odd or odds against you. So if there's somebody that, as a leader, you're intimidated by or just seems really, really strong, this is telling you that you have the capacity to push back a little bit. This card does show like an ending of domination or old ways of thinking because we see here Divine Feminine being able to overcome Divine Masculine, setting sort of like the scales of balance here. I much prefer modern decks. I tend to use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck because that's the one that we all start with. And also the images are in the public domain, so I don't have to worry about that. But the image that I talked about in the Light Seers deck is so much better because it does show now the evolution that we can have both divine masculine and feminine. And it's not about trying to have to one person winning and one person losing. So this is, to me, like an old archetype here. And I like to kind of update it a bit. But you still have the capacity to overcome things. Focus on your own strength in your body whenever we see the strength card as well, taking special care and putting special attention to, diet, exercise, and sleep, of course. But understanding you can do this, you've got this. Bastet is also connected to pregnancy and childbirth. So another tarot card that we could bring forth because of the totems today is the Empress card. Lots of divine feminine energy because cats' feline energy is really divine feminine. So like the Empress, this ushers in fertility, abundance, and divine feminine power into your life as well. How can this help you? If there's something in your life where you're not seeing enough movement, focus more on it over the course of March because you're going to have the capacity to bring it to the next level, to break through any blocks that you might have been feeling prior to now, and really just work your magic, which is a nice segue into the next card. Another card in tarot that literally has a cat on it is the Queen of Wands. The cat in this particular card represents magic, but it's not the traditional, she has a wand, but it's not just about like that kind of magic. It's about this kind of magic and this kind of magic because the Queen of Wands believes in her power. She is very much like the High Priestess. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to kind of get through a challenge, and she knows that if she believes in herself, other people will take her seriously. So if we could take a lesson from the Queen of Wands, it is that believing is seeing. Not seeing is believing. She's not doubting things until it's proven to her. She believes in something until it's disproven. It's kind of like she flipped the switch and turned it inside out. And that's the magic of the Queen of Wands. Again, of all the Queen cards, one of my favorites because she can find a way to basically surprise people, solve something in a way that was unexpected, and just basically show up and really command attention. So what I put in the first paragraph here is that this card is not just about book smarts or basically going to school and learning things. It's also about how you're going to apply it. And the raw intuition combined with the intelligence, some people may call it magic or practical magic, but she just understands its power and it's her ability to put the application of intuition and intelligence together. That's why she's arguably one of the best queen cards you can pull. so you can navigate or avert any sort of challenge that's coming through, especially, okay? So if the universe throws you a curveball, you're going to be like Neo in the Matrix. You're going to be able to anticipate that before it happens, or maybe just make it stop completely, okay? So now let's move on to what a big part of my later sort of dreams were about, which was the past. And maybe it's because, I don't know what made me want to rewatch this, but I read the book as a kid, and then I also just rewatched the Leonardo DiCaprio version of The Great Gatsby. It's an interesting movie, and I remember reading the book, like, if you're a writer, the last paragraph is amazing. It's some of the best lines in literature, but the book, it's outdated, and I don't agree with everything that's going on in it, but we're going to talk about one theme in it, which is the character that it's named after here, Gatsby, is basically stuck in the past. And part of being stuck in the past means that he wants to kind of like rewrite it, relive it. And I can kind of go forward here for this. This is the important slide, and then we'll go backwards. We cannot live in the past. We cannot rewrite the past. We can make decisions today to make a better tomorrow. So the big sort of like Greek tragedy with Jay Gatsby was he couldn't see that what was. And it was never enough for him to just be able to kind of like reclaim a piece of that. He wanted to go back and relive it and rewrite it and then pretend that it never happened. So death and rebirth, as it stands in this card, is a gateway, and it's saying there's a door open to you. But if you're looking in this direction, you're missing what's coming. And so the main thing here is to really embrace what's coming through. Take the first step today. Go from death even to the Fool card and move towards that possibility. So the other thing that I would sort of connect with this is judgment, which is a rebirth. And that's also like the cat with 9 lives, or just the cat landing on its feet. You always have the capacity to get a second chance. So don't beat yourself up over what was, what wasn't, and don't solely exist in reliving possibilities or nostalgia. I'm sure you've seen people who graduate from school, high school or something, and they're constantly reliving their glory days. Or maybe you have a parent or grandparent that quit their job, but they're still stuck in that sort of career mindset. Whenever the graduation of some sort happens, there's new life and new experiences to be had. And for anybody who's kind of like left a job and started something new, you have to let go of the old trappings, the old you. And that's really what we're looking at here. So what did I see in my dreams that brought about all of this? I saw you in what I would like to refer to as the house of your soul. Basically, there's a card that I pulled the other day, and I kept it handy here, this lovely house card. Let me move it over here since the graphic is there. So in each of our soul houses, we have kind of like rooms and spaces for things. But if that space is occupied with regrets, if it's occupied with feelings of attachment, then we don't basically allow new things to come into those rooms. And so that's the metaphor that Spirit shows me sometimes when opportunity awaits. I saw a cluttered house. I saw old boxes, and it was moving day, and it was sort of like you were trying to get all these old boxes, but some of that stuff, you can't take everything with you. If you've ever moved from one apartment or one house to another, you know this. You have to let go of some stuff. Or if you've ever rented a space to store old things, you realize at a certain point you're just spending money on things that you don't need anymore, but you're not ready to part with. So there's a cost to holding on, Four of Pentacles. And really what the future wants you to do is just to take that and plant that seed and let something else come of that, okay? So some of us are holding on to an experience because it didn't come to fruition the way we wanted it to. So for me, sometimes I'm shown an old job or something in school where there was something unresolved. Some of you might see an old relationship. In the case of The Great Gatsby, he was stuck on this woman named Daisy and couldn't get her out of his head. And basically, when you're attached to that, then nothing else can kind of like transpire and move into your life. So if you're stuck in a moment, if you can't release it, you can also like send it back. If you even feel the energy of someone thinking to you and you need to move on, I thought of the mantra this morning, just return to sender. It's like the postal system. You can just stamp it and say, I don't need this. This is no, like, and usually then the person understands that you've moved on and they need to move on as well. So energetically, you can do that. I saw you at a table with someone who I believe is on the precipice of soul review or just entered soul review. So some of you have, what is soul review? When someone dies and passes into spirit, they get a chance to review all of the deeds of their life and how they touched people on this planet for positive or negative sort of, capacity. So they see it through your eyes and they feel it through your heart. And so sometimes when the soul review happens, people are feeling regret or they're feeling things that they didn't know that you felt. So one thing that you can do that's powerful to help them with the healing and help you is to say, it's all right, I've moved on now. Thank you. So I saw myself at a soul review with somebody saying, thanks for the experience. It was like once in a lifetime. It didn't end the way I wanted and it didn't go the way I wanted, but I got a lot out of it. So thanks for taking a chance on me. For me, I saw like an old boss that I said that with, who I think is passing or has passed, based on what I saw in my dreams. So I was like, what have I got to hold on to now? That experience is gone. And for all of you, I would hope you can do the same thing too. Once the person has passed into spirit, give them the freedom to do better. That's one thing that I've said to relatives who have passed before. Sometimes they come to me with regret. And I just say, well, we had our chance and I understand your point of view and I'm not holding on to it. Do better from here on out. Do better in spirit and do better when you reincarnate. And that's my way of releasing. So for all of us, I think the message and the opportunity is really to do better and to embrace today. This is my favorite death card, I believe, because it shows that once you allow that transformation to take place, you step through this window of opportunity and the sky is the limit. Okay? So let's take a moment now and I'm going to see which decks are calling to me and I'll give you a chance to choose from them today. So I'm going to go shopping in my selection of decks here. And then while you're voting, I might see if I can find that picture of my cat. So give me a second. All right. So I think what we're going to look at here is probably put Afro Goddess up for consideration, Green Witch up for consideration. I'll show you some examples of these if you don't know them. Prisma Visions, which I haven't used in a while. Let's see here. Maybe St. Croix. Okay. So let's get the poll going here and I'll let you choose from among these. And then I'll show you some examples here in just a moment. All right, so viewer's choice. We have Afro Goddess, and we'll talk about that in a second. Afro Goddess. And then we have Green Witch. We have Prisma Visions. And we have St. Croix. So give me a moment here, and I'm going to show you each of these decks. So let's see. Yeah, I'll just show it this way. So this is the Afro Goddess deck. Beautiful, rich colors. Everything looks like a painting. I used it a lot over the past couple months, so I took it out of rotation, but I wanted to give you a chance. So this is the one with the black background that you guys were interested in. And then we have Green Witch, and Green Witch is also beautiful. You have all these sort of earthy and yeah, kind of like, it's more of an illustrated deck than the other one, which was painted. This one is something that I think fans of Van Gogh would like. So everything looks like Starry Night, basically. A little harder for me to read, but very beautiful to look at. So this is Prisma Visions, and this is the Tarot of St. Croix, which is a unique take. I don't think it's a straight Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It actually has its own sort of approach. Beautiful colors on this as well. All right, so while you're doing that, let me see if I can find a picture of my cat. I may have to wait until the end for this, but let's see if it comes up real quick. I'll give you a chance to vote while you're doing that. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I don't think I can. I'm not going to be able to do that. So it's okay. I will find it later for all of you. All right, let's see what's in the lead here. We have Green Witch at 35%. Prisma Vision's around 31. Looks like nobody wants these two. So it's probably going to be Green Witch. I'm going to end the poll now so we can get started. And we'll see what's going on here. I always give it an extra minute because I know it takes a few moments for things to come through. I'm always surprised at which ones actually win. It's never the ones that I think, so that's why I give you a chance to do it from time to time. All right, so by 34%, it's Green Witch. So this is great, though. I have not used this in a long time. It's one of my older decks. I've had it in my collection for quite a while, actually, but I don't always use this one. So, all right, let's take a look at what's coming through here. I think I've had this one since like 2015. It's one of my older ones. I just take really good care of my decks. The one cool thing with this one is I think almost every card has an animal in it too, so there's some good animal totems in this particular deck, which is cool that I forgot since I haven't used it in a while. Thank you, by the way, to everyone that has supported me with memberships. I see that we have someone here that's been a member for a year. Much appreciate that, Andy. I'll give you some information here in just a moment on how you can support the channel. I forgot to do that at the beginning. There were too many messages to talk about today. I wanted to get straight into the reading. And just to make sure that dogs weren't left out, we actually got the dog coming through. That's funny. Okay, so a couple of quick notes here. If you're brand new, by the way, first of all, welcome. If you like what you see here, please like and subscribe. Everything's free, including the option to subscribe. It just allows you to see me on your home feed, and it also shows YouTube that this is a cool place to hang out. You can hit the thumbs up once per video. You can subscribe once in a lifetime, but doing either of those helps me quite a bit. You can also get reminders on social media. All the links are here. It's also in the pinned comment. And thank you to everybody that's given back in super stickers or super chat, and also for the members that, as you can see, get a chance to highlight their comments occasionally. They also help me buy new decks, which is something that I've been doing. Okay, my schedule is here. I'm actually going to sit down and devise all of the dates for the next month ahead. Today, actually. So, all right, now let's get back into your reading. So first card that came through the catalyst is the One. And what a cool card this is. I've been using this particular card deck for a while. It's actually the Wild Unknown author. She has an Oracle deck. So Wild Unknown is on my website. You can find out this deck from there, but it's not listed specifically. But anyway, the One, what is this saying? Okay, so basically you are the source. I talked about this a little bit yesterday in our reading, which is saying, sometimes we focus so much on finding the one job that's going to make everything better, the one person that's going to complete us, the one ... whatever it is that you need. The truth of the matter is you are the one. You are the one that you're looking for. You have the connection to that source. You can call in something complementary, but to look for one thing that is going to make everything perfect is actually setting your own future up for sort of like more struggle than there needs to be. There's more than one way to crack an egg, and the same thing is true here. You can have a lot of different experiences. Why limit yourself to just one? The one good thing about this is saying that you are connected to that one source that we're all connected to. and you are the one. So look within for the answers, for the completion, for that sense of I'm okay. It doesn't have to come from your mom, from your friend, from your boss, from whomever, from the public at large. It's nice to have that Six of Wands energy, but it doesn't need to be there. And this is, I think, what a lot of you will probably agree with me. The older that you get, the less you need or care about that sort of like, yay, good job. It's always good to have the gold star, but sometimes when you do something right, it causes a little bit of a ruckus. It causes a little bit of, challenges or a lack of popularity, but it's important to do what's right. So you're the one, and as long as you feel good and at the end of the day you can sleep with yourself with a clear conscience, then you're on the right path. How is a catalyst related to the spread? The catalyst is something that creates positive traction or action. And I would say for you, realizing that it all starts and ends with you, accountability basically, brings you closer to the Queen of Wands, which we looked at in the channeled messages. I can do this, I see it, I believe it, I don't care if there's a little bit of pushback, this is what needs to happen. Good leaders have that sense of strength. It's the combination of the three cards that I basically in spirit pulled. Strength card, Queen of Wands, and what was the other one? I forget, the Empress. So those three, that if you put that sort of divine energy with you, you're unstoppable because that's ideation, fertility, and magic. So let's bring that through, okay? I'm ready to see that for you, Pisces. All right, let's take a look at the spread and see what else is coming through. Right at the center, we have the Three of Wands. I think this just happened. I can't remember if it was for Aquarius or if it was yesterday's reading, but I know I just got the Three of Wands in the center. I think it was yesterday because I used I can't remember, but anyway, recently I pulled this. I'm seeing a common energy for this. Let's talk about why the Three of Wands is so important. So Three of Wands at the center tells you that not only can you do what you want to do, but it's happening. And the sooner you believe in it and sooner you participate in it, the better. Interesting that we see the sort of, I look at them as boxes, but I know they're crates. But these are things that you need to unload. So for some of you, letting go of the past, making room in this ship for you, for something new, is going to be really, really important. Three of Wands can show also like 1/4 of the year. We're right now going into March. So you're finishing up Q1 and going into Q2 for the second quarter. So March, April, May, bringing you into that second quarter looking really good. I would say that there's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of abundance that's coming through for you, but you have to act now. And that's why this is a great Three of Wands. The person's actually at the dock waiting for the ship. They're not way up on the hilltop looking down. So the more you participate, the more you're involved, the quicker things are going to happen for you. And when you start to just really throw yourself into an opportunity, you'll be surprised at how quickly you start to see a return on that, okay? We have a balancing act right on top of this. We have the Six of Pentacles. Interesting on this Six of Pentacles that you can see he's crossing. Well, he actually is holding dice in the back here. He's taking a wager. And the interesting thing here is to make sure that you're betting on someone that, with your time and energy, that isn't going to waste it. So here, the person that is the Six of Pentacles decision maker is here. We have two people begging or asking for resources. One ostensibly who's in need, one who may just take this and not use it very well. Because if you look, again, this would be like a gamble that's not worth it, the way that I would read this. So I want you to be very discerning about who you're spending time, energy, money, love, experiences on, and looking at their track record over time. I think we all make a mistake here and there. You don't hold one mistake to sort of like basically sum up everyone's life. But if consistently somebody isn't showing up the way that you want them to, if consistently they seem to kind of like, what's the best word, squander an opportunity, then this is not the person to invest in. This is not the opportunity to invest in right here and right now. You have to basically look at the best bet, the best opportunity. What I love about Six of Pentacles, if we take out the sort of gambling aspect that we see there, is that it's just a balancing card. And this is my favorite card because it, like when we're looking at can you do something and it's a new start, because it tells me that you have all of what's necessary. I'd much prefer to see 7, 8, 9, or 10 of Pentacles, but I will take the 6. It tells me you've learned all the lessons of self-confidence that we would see in the 5 of Pentacles. You realize that the grass isn't always greener, the lesson of the 4 of Pentacles. You've overcome the issue of trying to do too many things at once that we often see with 2 of Pentacles. So you've learned the hard lessons of the early suit. Now you're ready to say, I know if I do this and this, that I'll be okay. I can't do this. Prioritization, pushing back, delegating. All of these things are part of the 6 of Pentacles, and they're teaching you what you need to do right here and right now. Plus looking at people that just, again, the best word I can use is maybe squander or waste your time and energy. Not worth it. Listen to feedback. The little bird here that's perched there is probably trying to warn her because it can see what's going on here. So if somebody is trying to warn you, look into that. You don't want to kind of listen to gossip, but if there's a lot of warning signs or there's a red flag, you want to listen to that. Okay. You've done a lot of work on yourself here. We have here in the deep past the Hermit card showing me that many of you have been working to understand what makes your own inner clockwork tick. And I just like to kind of take a look at the illustration on this one. So the thing for some of you is this feeling of when will I be a part of this? So we see someone here, if you look really close, looking out the window. We see this person here. We also see what looks to me almost like an old-fashioned hourglass. So I would say for many of you, the time is now to kind of like reconnect with whoever's on the other side here. Sometimes we need to go on to like a personal journey of discovery, development, and we need time and we need space to figure ourselves out. It looks to me like you've done that requisite work that's necessary to understand yourself. And what can happen sometimes is if we stay too long in that, we end up kind of going down a rabbit hole, and that's what we see with the 7 of Cups. The Hermit always holds the star in his lantern, so he knows that he has the capacity to shine. Sometimes he's afraid to let the other people see that sort of true ability shine through. I see a sense of longing on this particular card, and I see someone at the window that's ready to welcome you in. So if, again, using the energy that we talked about with the Queen of Wands, if you believe in you and you're not hesitating, they're not going to hesitate when they see you either. What are you looking for? That is what the 7 of Cups is asking. We can even see the inquisitive glance, the sideward glance on this card. Do I want this? Am I sure? I think that that is a great starting point for any new venture. I see people here that are starting new things. So the 7 of Cups can be that energy of whether it's a new relationship, new house, new job. It's about acclimation, about kind of like sorting out, how do I fit in here? What do I want? Who do I want to be this time? In dreams, I was thinking of the first job that I had, a while ago. It's been almost 20 years. It's over 20. So like 22 years ago, 21 years ago. The first big job, not the first job, but one of the first big jobs that I had. And when I look back now, sometimes wouldn't it be cool if we could infuse the life experience, the knowledge, and the wisdom that we have now into that younger version of ourselves? Because there wouldn't be so much insecurity. I think that's the key difference between if you look at yourself now versus 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, depending on your age. You just see that there's a sense of not being afraid and definitely not questioning. Like, I wake up in the morning and I know who I am and I know what I want to do. But like back when I was in my 20s, maybe not so much. So because you still really haven't seen much of the world yet. So if you're in your 20s, dream and explore and try things. Taste everything at the banquet. If you're 30, 40, 50, mid-career, midlife, use the strength, use the experience that you have to navigate more intelligently and without fear. If you're retired, remembering what I talked about earlier, a little bit of a nostalgia here and there is good, but there's so many new experiences to be had. So it's sort of about the wise fool, the sophomore word, realizing that you've had a lot of life experiences, but what haven't you tried? And now having the experience and none of the fear, you can just have all of the fun, which is what I think most of us wish we could do if we could go back to high school, our first job, our first love or whatever. Like no fear, just fun. So no matter where you're at in life, I think that would be the nice thing, is to not overthink it. And that is the thing that can happen with the Seven of Cups, is overthinking, over-evaluating. Just kind of take it, see how it feels. You like it or you don't like it, move on to the next thing. All right? Take a sip, move on. That's really what I'm getting with that. There, of course, are other connotations here. It's good for, brainstorming and ideation. So if you're trying to start something new right now, this is a good time to do that. But I really like the idea of not getting in your way because you're thinking too much. Let the heart, the seed of knowledge, the true seed of knowledge come through. All right, as we look at your crowning card, I'm very heartened to see the Knight of Swords in the upright position. Interesting that we see a little skunk off to the side. Let's take a look at this card. Let's talk about how that might kind of like be something you need to pay attention to. So skunks get a bad rap. They're not going to basically use that defense mechanism unless they're afraid or they feel like they have to protect themselves. But a skunk can also represent something that we need to be mindful of. Take a moment and scan the situation. It's sort of like, does it not taste or smell or feel right to you? And if it doesn't, acknowledge that. I can think of experiences in my life where a lot of mine end up being career, because that was where a lot of my growth happened at the beginning portion of my life. I had to kind of experience some difficult people to understand I didn't want that. But I remember walking into one job that I shouldn't have taken, and I knew, actually it happened twice to me. One, I knew almost to the month how long I would be there. I thought 6 or 8 months, and it was around 8 months. And I knew that by looking at the logo on the main sort of eave as I stepped in the building. It was a snake. I was like, I don't think I should be working here. There's something about this place where it's not going to be what it seems, and it wasn't. And there was another job where the people were just so angry. It had nothing to do with me. And I just knew, I thought, there's so much broken here. I know I can make a difference, but it's going to take a lot of work. And I wish I'd listened to myself, because it was even harder than I thought. So in both cases, it was the equivalent of a skunk. I saw something, I heard something, I felt something that created this moment where I was like, I don't know if I want this. So things are moving quickly. That's the Knight of Swords. Something is requiring attention. Something is in the corner saying, don't miss this. And it can be as obvious as something stinks, or like figuratively, something doesn't quite settle well with you. So don't overlook it, because that is spirit working with you and saying, slow down, figure out if this is okay with you, ask a few more questions, use your skill of communication and interrogation to really sort it out. So in my earlier life, I was like the high priestess reversed. I got intuitive vibes everywhere. I would get it in dreams. I would step in situations. I would meet people, and I would know from the first moment if I was going to be best friends with them or if they were trouble. I've talked about this on the channel, but this was right before I quit, maybe the last year of me working in corporate work, but I shook someone's hand, and I started to get more used to it by then, because this would have been like 2014, and I started really delving. 2009, I was awakening. 2013, I started working with cards and everything. So I was used to hearing and seeing things, and it didn't freak me out too much. But I shook someone's hand, and a guide whispered in my ear, trouble, and then careful. Like, careful, this person's going to be trouble. And I probably looked a little odd to the person, because for a second I looked to the side and I thought, uh-oh. And then they ended up being trouble. And I knew it, and I knew exactly what was going on. There was another situation where someone was trying to block me moving from one place to another. And I don't know what it was about, but when a situation came about, I walked straight over to their desk and I said, I don't know how you're involved, but I know you're involved, and I'm going to figure out why. And their face went white, and they told me exactly their level of involvement, because there was no way that I could have ascertained it. But in that moment, I sat at my desk. I'm like, who did this? I know exactly who did this. And I walked over and called them out on it. So what I've done later in life, I don't even have to get to those silly situations because they were silly. You can see it coming a mile away, and the skunk is telling you, if it smells like a skunk, it's a skunk. And again, we love skunks, but in a metaphor of something that you don't want, think of what happens if a skunk sprays you. You get that stuff on you. So when you get involved in some sort of a mess, it takes a while to clean that up. That stink sticks with you for a while. So avoid the stink of the skunk altogether. God bless it, but let it be in the side, okay? I think that's really important. All right, let's take a look at what's coming through in the near future. So we actually have a really great card here, which is the King of Swords. So if you slow down, if you deal with this, then you're actually being set up for success here. And now you can kind of relax and really go into your power here. The King of Swords for you, some of you may actually have like an ascendant in air, whether it's Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. So if you do, then this is going to be a good time for you to use that communication skill in work. You may also have it as your moon or Venus, so you might be using it in relationships and other things. But even if you don't, your heart and your passion is all that you need. A lot of times we may look at someone who is one of those air signs who seems to just kind of like pontificate and be eloquent, and you think, oh my God, I wish I was like that. But the truth of the matter is, if you say something from the heart and it's real and it's short and it's concise, it can be even more effective than a ton of words. I had an English teacher whose name escapes me right now, but one of his lessons that I do remember is that he said, it's good to have a great vocabulary, but don't show off, don't just use it for the sake of using it. He said, if there's a way that you can say something, particularly when we talk about, like if it's in politics, in education, or in instructions, he said, if you can get the point across in fewer words, use those fewer words, because then there will be less confusion. There are times and places like poetry or creative writing where you can wax poetic, but there are other times where if you're trying to read instructions on like how to fix your car battery or something like that, you just want to know, do this, don't do this, put it here, don't put it here. So the power is in the concise and successful execution or the delivery of whatever it is that's in your head. That's it. And when I think of an example of this mixing passion with like not a lot of words, it can be singing. You only have so many minutes, so many lines, so many opportunities to insert words. So when you sing them, they should be something that everybody understands. And it's not about, when you break down the poetry of certain songs, it doesn't sound good when it's not sung. Sometimes the singing, the emotion, the elongation of the syllables and the vowels is what makes something beautiful. When you look at the same thing repeated 10 times in a chorus, you're like, this isn't so profound, but it sounds really good when this person says it. So that's the King of Swords mixed with passion. You don't always have to have the words, but you do have to have the passion and the delivery. Okay? That's all that matters here. All right, next piece. Let's go ahead and see how you're showing up here in spirit and to yourself. So when we focus on what's going on here, you're coming with great ideas this month. We have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is a really good place to be able to listen to feedback and also be a person that is conveying something. But it's not just about words, it's also about listening and showing. And so the one thing that I would say with the page here is, are you open? Are you attentive? And I think for those of you that are trying to learn something new, are you distracted? Because it's really important to be kind of like a sponge, just bringing it all in, or a satellite. Tune in and receive. That's the big opportunity for you, the big kind of like, we'll look at what the block will be in a few moments here, but I think that the pitfall could be that some of you are focusing on this or focusing on that instead. So tune in is what I see when I'm looking at this particular page card. Make sure that the person that you're talking to is also tuned in and that it's computing. So when you're talking to someone, say, do you have any questions? Why don't you tell me, like, and if it is instructional and not in a condescending way, but you just want to say, I want to make sure that you got this. Can you just repeat back so that I can walk away and feel good about this? See if they really got it. This is good for teaching moments. But for everyone else, if you're in the listening seat, you can just say, I think I got this, but can I just clarify? You're looking for this, not this, and you want it by this date. Something like that. Just make sure that you got all the key points. And if you don't know something, say, I didn't get that reference. What are you talking about? Or you were talking a little bit fast. Can you slow down and can we go back to this point? There's nothing wrong with that. And if someone kind of like scoffs and rolls their eyes, say, well, I'm not going to be able to successfully do this if you don't give me the instructions, so please slow down. This is taking more time than us actually doing it. And then, by the way, if someone is that impatient with you, it's time to move on. But for you, the Page of Wands tells me it's a good time for you to take something and bring it to the next level. So if you have an idea, what are you going to do about it? Practice makes perfect. We see sort of like an apprentice in this card. Some of you might be in training right now. The good news is you're going to be fine. I look in the environment here. We have the Ace of Wands. This is a fruitful card. We can actually see it looks like cherries or berries of some sort here being harvested on this wand card here. So what I'm seeing for you is that good use, good application of your skill and your time. The time is right now, and so focus on that. This could also be an offer to you. This can be a couple different things. It can be someone sharing an idea with you, trying to get an idea from you. It could also be an offer for someone to like ask you out too. Someone's attracted to you, someone's interested in you. You can use this sort of energy of attraction in many ways. Like, you know, when I break down relationships, I'll look at those in, those looking for, and those single and happy. If you're single and happy, or if you're a student, or you're retired or divorced, and you're just interested in like, how can I open up new opportunities? People want to listen to what you have to say right now. So use that, but they're actually very much interested in this, in that perspective. So some people are interested in this, some people are interested in your body. And so you really want to discern what is their perspective here. So take a moment and use your intuition and kind of understand. And if there's a blurring of the lines there, that's where you want to be careful. There's definitely an opportunity this month for relationship growth and for new relationships. Four of Wands can be a nice friend stepping into your life. It can also be taking what was just a dating situation and then making it something more serious. So let's look at this card upright. So we see the sort of fruits of the labor here. Again, a lot of harvest energy coming through for many of you. So this is a chance, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going soon into spring here. So Southern Hemisphere, my Australians out there and everybody, soon you will be going into autumn, right, or fall. So it feels like this, for the next couple months, this would be good for either North or Southern Hemispheres, because if we take the friendship vibe or the relationship vibe, we see that this is a good time to deepen a relationship. If we're looking for foundational energy, it's still in the next couple of months. So we see this sort of bounty or harvest coming through. So for some of you, the season will match this. For the rest of you, it's really just about what's the next natural step, and am I ready to take that step? Now, because we see all the fruits and vegetables on these cards, I would say one of the important things is to realize that it's only ripe for a little bit. And so for anybody that's had, like, it depends on when you buy it. Avocados take a while, but like sometimes then you cut it open and all of a sudden it's not there. But I would say there's a 1 to 2 week window for fruit for the most part. It's vegetable, you've got to refrigerate it. It doesn't wait as long, but you got a 1 to 2 week window here for the ripening or the opportunity of that window to be open. So when this strikes, know that you have to kind of like also strike pretty quickly while the iron is hot. Okay? So there you go. All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look at what's going on in the outcome card here. We have the Four of Cups, which can be sort of like the grass is always greener, wishing that you could see things from a different perspective. I talked about that here in the Seven of Cups. So some of you may be overthinking, some of you may be wishing you had something else. Hopefully neither of these kind of get in the way of missing what this card truly offers, which is an opportunity. So the opportunity here, we have someone knocking at the door. We have someone that, again, is not paying attention and maybe not being receptive to what's being offered. Now, it's okay if you're looking at something and it feels to you like you could do better. It's okay if, it just really isn't meeting your standards. Though that's like a Four of Cups, it's all right. It's sort of discernment. But usually Four of Cups is missing something big and missing something potentially good, and also not maybe noticing all of the great things that's going on around you right now. So love, if you're looking for love, could be coming in an unexpected source in an unexpected way. Opportunity could be knocking, but it's knocking in a different sort of part of your soul's house. So you have to be willing to answer the call, even if the timing is inconvenient, even if the person that is coming through is not what you imagined. It may not be what you thought you needed, but it may be exactly what you needed, particularly if it's a friendship or a work opportunity. Even love can come through in an unexpected shape or form. So keep an open mind, keep an open heart, and I think that will help you be more available to these opportunities. Okay? So just for those of you that just joined, I'm just showing you what we're going through right now. We're going to look at the expanded forecast next. The expanded forecast includes health, wealth, love, and destiny. So each one of these is multi-part. As we look at health, it's going to be mind, body, and spirit. We take a drink, and then we're going to take a look at your messages for health. All right. This is an interesting card that very much aligns to what we just talked about. It's reversed, but what we see here is someone on the outside looking in, or someone that's trying to come out of their shell. And also it reminds me a lot of the person at the door in this card that's sort of like, hey, I'm over here. Are you paying attention to me? So sometimes I've never really looked at the Four of Cups this way, but thanks to this card, it's giving me a different understanding of it. Were any of you maybe like middle or youngest child, or are you in a company where there's like so many outspoken people, so many leaders, and so many people in general that you just feel like you're the person in the background? Or are you just having a hard time getting people's attention, even though you're trying and you're being outgoing and you're like fireworks and jazz hands and everything, and nothing's kind of working? So what I'm getting is like, look at me. So when we're looking at health, if you're not getting the attention and the support that you need, if there's an opportunity to correct it, correct it. But if you're constantly being pushed back, particularly as an adult, particularly in places that you're working, living, or in any sort of friend circles that you might exist in, then you can do much better. You deserve much better than that. And this is a clear indicator for you to seek that sort of support elsewhere. But don't forget what we talked about earlier, which was nice to have validation, but you don't need it. The only time that you really need the support is if people aren't doing their fair share. So if you're in a partnership and you're holding up, 99% of the load, that's not fair. If you're at work and people are offloading stuff on you and then taking credit for it, that's not cool. But if you're just doing a good job and people may not be giving you as much attention as you want, take a look and see, is it hurting me, or is it just something that I need to work on? So it does feel like there's this feeling of being left out, not supported, or neglected. Now, if you see someone in your life that is neglected, this is your chance to maybe step in and see if you can make a difference, okay? Since we'll be looking at health, standard disclaimers apply on this one. I'm looking at energy and opportunities. If you have any problems in your body, seek the help that you need with a professional that's appropriate for that. With that being said, let's look at the cards now and see what wants to come through energetically when we're looking at health. Here's what I like around the center here. Because we have the Three of Wands card, anything that you decide to put your energy into, we see a positive return on it right off the bat, which I love. The biggest thing that you need to be focusing on is not spreading your energy too thin. So the Six of Pentacles is about making smart choices and saying this, not this. And as long as you're willing to say no, basically, and have proper boundaries with people in your life, this will be good. Some of you are having a hard time focusing. So you may be legitimately dealing with something like ADHD. There could also just be, a loss in your life or something that's taking a lot of time and energy. You may benefit in this situation from talking to a counselor, a friend, or another professional. Whatever you need to do to clear your head, that's important. The rest of the cards are pretty good. And I think that's the key thing here that I'd like to focus on, is it looks like you're in the right direction. It would be good to get outside. I know that for many of you on the East Coast, maybe some of you in Scandinavia, some of you even in Europe right now where the weather is really cold, or Canada, I get it. It's hard to get outside. But if you can do anything to sort of like change up the environment right now, that'll really, really help your ability to focus, and finding another way to kind of get your energy moving is key. One thing that I've been talking about lately is I've started hiking again, but I didn't realize how much I missed like a daily practice of moving until I started doing it. And one of the biggest things that I noticed was that I'm not tired in the afternoons. I used to want to like take a nap. So now at the point that I want to take a nap, I go out and take a hike, and then I have energy until I go to sleep. And I'm like, I didn't need any sleep. I just needed to push the endorphins. So find another way to stay active, even if the weather's cool. And maybe there are other weather appropriate things that you can do, like skiing, or maybe there are some things that you can do inside, like have a stationary bike or something like that. But it is important to move the body, even if you're in a winter climate. And I remember there was a time when I grew up in the sort of like mountainous states here in the United States, and we would wear galoshes to school, and I had on the full, it kind of felt like that Christmas story where you're wrapped up in all that stuff. And it was a little harder to get outside, but I love to get outside and play in the snow. So even as an adult, if the weather's not great, I still want to take a walk. I can deal with snow rather than rain, and I would prefer sun to both. But sometimes you just have to move your body, even if the weather's not great. So do something to make sure that that's happening. And that's the main thing that I'm getting here. Okay, so let's move on to the next portion of your expanded forecast. We're going to be, by the way, one last thing here. With the feeling like the outsider looking in, there may be, it might be important for you to talk to that person and say, I'm sorry, goodbye, or thank you, but then close the chapter on that and then kind of like move forward. So whatever you need to do to kind of like help this inner child, I think that's going to be key. All right, so we just looked at health. We're moving on to wealth. What a great card to come through for wealth. We have growth here. It says, I want to expand my consciousness, or my conscious and my awareness. I think they need to put conscious. Oh, it is consciousness. Good. So consciousness and awareness. This is what I was talking about earlier. Some of you may be able to discern what's available to you, good or bad, from the first sort of like stage of the journey. So let's say it is your first day at a job. It is your first experience like talking to someone. You're going to know if that person is going to be a best friend or a lover, or going to be someone that's going to cause a lot of trouble. If it's a job, you know if this is a place that you're going to stay or you're going to be gone in a few months. If it's a house, you either get the vibe that you want to stay there or it's not a good investment. Trust initial perceptions. You can dig a little deeper for validation in the data, but even if the data don't show what you're expecting, I think you should trust your intuition on this one. It's going to help you. Trust it also in what you should be focusing on rather than what you don't want. The whole purpose of this card is growth. What is it right now that you feel the most affinity or calling towards? What's making you get excited about, waking up in the morning and doing it? So if you're a student, are you fully engaged with the course that you're studying? Because if you don't like it now, it's going to be something you've got to sit with for a while as an adult. So good time to course correct. If you were mid-career like I was, you can still make a change. I did mine 15 years in. Now it's been another 7 years since that. And I'm so happy that I did that because, it's never too late, but I wouldn't have wanted to start it now. So it's better to start it now than like 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years from now, because you're younger now, you have more energy now. No matter where you are in your life, it's going to be better if you start it now. So you can make the course correction anytime. And I feel like for some of you, that's what's calling. Maybe it's going back to school. Maybe it's taking a slight left or right turn. Maybe it's taking a complete 180 and going down a different path altogether. Whatever the growth opportunity is, go for it. If you've been looking and investing and trying to grow, this is also a validation that you're on the right path. So let's say like 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, you've been investing in your life or in money or in something different. You're going to start to see like growth and movement there. Let's take a look at all the cards and all the messages associated with this. Okay. For those of you that might be currently like looking at work opportunities, looking for work or seeing like, can I stay in this job and do something? I like that we have 6 of Pentacles and 3 of Wands. The answer is yes, but I think you may also be cooking up a plan B or some sort of like a safety net for you, because the 6 of Pentacles, that's kind of what I went through before I decided to leave. I started up my own business and I still had my current job. And then eventually when I quit, I was like, all right, I'm just going to put it all into this new business. So it's always good to have something in the back burner that's cooking there just in case you burn the main thing. So definitely think about a plan B, a hobby that could become something more. Also try to give yourself time to focus on what matters. So in a current job or a current sort of project, this is about saying, I'm not going to focus on all this other stuff. I'm going to delegate it. I'm going to see a lot of progress in one area, and that discernment is key. The only thing that could get you in the sort of like way of accomplishing all of that is the distraction of the 7 of Cups, or the grass is always greener energy that comes through with the 4 of Cups. Stay focused, and then you'll have this King of Swords energy, which is seeing it through. He's one of the best cards for like illustrating like executing on something and really doing a great job. Precision is what I see with him as well, paying attention to all the details. Friendships and relationships, something I've been saying a lot lately, are going to really be key in helping you connect all of the dots and see things through to fruition as well. You've got a good idea, you're on the right track, go with what you're kind of like exploring here. So as I said earlier, I'm happy that we at least got the Six of Pentacles. It may be a little bit of work for you, more than you're used to in juggling things, but it's totally worth it, and it's going to be fine when you sort of like put that sort of application of skills and intuition and hard work all together. You're going to see some positive returns on that. I like what I see overall. Okay. The last thing here, though, again, is just don't look so much at what your friends are doing or what your family is doing. Focus on what you're doing and is it good for you? Because again, it all comes back to you, right? All right. Looking pretty good there. Let's move on to relationships. You have the owl spirit coming through, clarity, seeing things clearly. It's a very demure kind of like, I'm looking at the eyelashes. I don't know if owls have eyelashes, but cute. I like this illustration. All right, so with the owl, it is depending on the species, I think it can be an apex predator, meaning it's like at the top of its food chain. So there's a great capacity to be able to really get what you're looking for when it comes to relationships. This can be accomplishing some balance, reclaiming your power. This can also be in a sort of professional or personal sphere, being able to kind of like get people to see it from your perspective. So I like what I'm seeing here. This is very much like strength card energy coming through. Let's look at it. We're going to break it down into 3 different categories. Like I said, in love, looking for love, single and happy. If you're not in a relationship, but you deal a lot with someone else, it can also be that. It's the sort of love and energy that you put into that relationship. So it can be familial, coworker, or it can be love, like traditional romantic relationships. All right. Those in love. The main thing that I'm seeing here is how much time do you want to spend on the relationship, and are you getting a return on your investment? Because the Six of Pentacles, again, it's not going to be perfectly even. It would be, by definition, it's like what, 60-30 or 60-40, right? So you're not going to have a perfectly even sort of application of skills here, so or time and energy or money. So are you okay with that difference? So if your partner's not giving 100%, is it because they usually do and they're focusing on a personal issue? Or do you need more? Is it enough for you? That's the main thing that I would say in this. Are you getting what you need? Also, there might be something where you need to just sort of like decide to focus a little bit more on your partner or on something in your life. And it's a balancing act ultimately. The good news is we do have success and we do have a really great execution of the goal here. So personal goals looking good, relationship goals looking good, but it's going to be a balancing act each and every day. A little give and a little take. As long as the partner is giving right back, you're okay. The biggest challenge for one or both of you is being vulnerable, putting yourself out there, because the hermit is not very vulnerable. He holds back a little bit. There's a lot going on and you might be distracted. There may be something wrong in the relationship, but somebody has to talk about it. The interesting thing here is that we see there's a lot of maturity with one partner, and there can be someone who just sort of like shoots from the hip and says what's on their mind with the other partner. But this person here may say what needs to be said, and the other partner just may have to kind of like deal with it, right? So I think that there's an important thing that has to be aired out. There's some dirty laundry, or there's something that needs to come out and see the light of day. What I do like is that it looks like if you're in a relationship and the spark hasn't been what it used to be, I see more physical connection coming through. So, this can be any number of things. You can either sort of reignite the romantic relationship, or you can just spend more time together. And one thing that the partner may miss is proximity or even just personal touch. So you could just be like cuddled up together watching a TV show, and that can be this energy too. It doesn't have to be the physical act of making love, but I definitely see that some of you have the potential to have a more exciting love life right now. So when I see it, I call it. The important thing here is I think the more you can kind of focus on enriching and deepening the friendship, that's what matters. Are you happy in your life? Maybe some of the challenges in the relationship have to do more with personal development and growth. And if that's the case, talk to your partner. Everything this month is all about talking. And as long as you can talk it out, you're going to be okay. Okay? So let's move on to those of you that are looking for love. Well, we already have what would constitute love to me here when I see two of the same suit. Again, there could be a little bit of experience, like life experience, that's different. Someone that's been through a more difficult path and someone that's just kind of like had it easier. But I see that there's a lot that the two of you can bring to balance one another's life because we have scales at the center here. So that's not bad at all. I would say one thing for you is how much time you're willing to put into dating. And also, are you sure of what you're looking for? Let's pull this card up because it affects everyone. And it's really about manifestation too. If you don't know what you want, this is the equivalent of going to Las Vegas and just pulling one of those slot machines and hoping for the best, or throwing out dice on the roulette table and hope that you get the right number. It's much better for you to be discerning and exact to a degree, because we're not going to be able to figure out everything. But if you can sort of set into, like when I was calling forth in spirit what I was looking for in that lovely little dog behind me, I spent a couple of years meditating on the type of dog that I wanted. And I just wanted a quiet, loving, spiritual being here that was capable of loving me back. I wasn't sure what breed I wanted. I've talked about this before, but it bears repetition. So I liked Lhasa Apsos, I liked Yorkies, I liked Maltese, I liked Mutts. And so basically I got a combination of all of those there with him. So where I was open for the universe to be creative, I was like, yeah, any of these. And then where I was specific, I was like, no, I need something in my life, a companion that's not going to make a lot of noise in the background while I do this and could be patient while I do the readings. And lo and behold, except maybe once a year when he needs to go for a walk on one of my collectives, he's a good boy. So I knew how and where to kind of like put the lines. So be specific where you want to be specific. Don't be specific where you maybe want a surprise. Do, however, put all of this or better and positive surprise, not a negative surprise, because the universe is just following instructions. And like my English teacher said, be specific, use fewer words, and be very, very careful about what you wish for, because it has an interesting way of manifesting. So less, but better, and clearer is going to be important. So when you're with your partner or looking for love, just be very specific in what you're looking for. And if they're not on the same page, that's going to help you discern that this isn't the right person. Okay? So know what you want. There was an old Bengal song, If She Knew What She Wants. That sort of energy. If you don't know what you want, then people can't give that energy to you. Okay, let me see what else. A really great friendship could start. There could be someone in your life that's already a friend. Look at this. This is someone who's kind of on the sidelines waiting. Maybe you've rebounded. Maybe you're finally paying attention. But I actually see love that's super close at hand. Someone's there. You're distracted. There's a friend in the sort of like midst here, and they're like, but maybe we could be more than friends. So there's an opportunity there, and it really depends on if there's mutual attraction. Okay? Be honest if there's not. But I actually see someone on the sidelines. It could be an air sign here. We also do have I don't think this is you. So I think it's an air sign. So be aware of that, okay? And if you are, let's see, single, happy, retired, not interested in your love life right now, what I see for you right now is wonderful personal growth, wonderful career growth, an ability for you to maybe finally step into the spotlight and come out of the shell. We didn't get the star card here, but that's a natural progression from the hermit in the deep past. So I feel like many of you are really in a great place to make new friends, find your voice, and maybe surprise yourself and surprise others. So it's a good month for you. There's still people around you, friendships that want to form. Don't miss out on that. Don't be afraid to kind of engage with that, because I feel like that's where the growth opportunity is. Okay. Let's look at destiny. We have the dog coming through here, which is about loyalty to me, and all the things that we were talking about here: unconditional love, loyalty, and really the sort of, if we look at the moon card in tarot, it connects us to that. So for some of us, we've become sort of that domesticated energy of the dog. And there's also this sort of wild side calling to us too from the moon, the coyote or the wolf that's on that card as well. So For many of you, what the dog card is indicating for me is a need to explore, I would say, the less rehearsed, more sort of like, yeah, just kind of like fun and what's the word that I'm looking for? Impulsive or just sort of like in the flow. Be more in the flow energetically and allow yourself to kind of not overthink it. Because there's fun to be had when we let our guard down a little bit and we're playful. And I think that's what's really happening here. And after I'm done and I say, do you want to go on a WALK in a specific tone, my dog will jump up and go crazy. So everybody likes to sort of take a break and go and do something different. So give yourself that walk on the wild side a little bit, okay? And be a little bit more impulsive, but not so much so that you're letting everything go, but just let your hair down a little bit. And I really feel like that's the energy of the dog card that's coming through for you today. All right, so just a quick revisit of what we've done. We looked at channeled messages, Celtic Cross, and expanded forecast. Now we're going to take a look at the big idea. The big idea is a chance for all of us to see what's the overarching energy of this month. What can you really focus on to shine, right? Let's take a look. One last thing with that dog card. This also to me is kind of like, it indicates a little bit of what we saw with the strength card, which is who's the one that's leading and who's the one that's following. So when it comes to leadership, when it comes to relationships and everything, there is this sort of question mark of, are you leading, are you following? I watch a lot of folks walking their dog and the dog is walking them. So you never know who's in charge. Don't underestimate someone's potential. And if you need to get something done, it may be the unexpected connection that is the one that's to go to. It's not the one with the title. It's the person that is supporting that person. And it could be anything from a marriage relationship to understanding that, you know, sometimes you have to go in the side or back entrance to get something done. So an unexpected person that is actually keeping the keys and holding the gate, and they don't care if someone doesn't realize that they are the gatekeeper, but they are the gatekeeper. All right, back to the big idea. So for the big idea, we're going to look at what you can focus on being powerful right now, right here. Okay. So we have the High Priest or the Hierophant card in reverse. Let's take a really close look at this beautiful card here. So what I like about this High Priest, he reminds me a little bit more of a wizard than the traditional sort of like priest that we would see, and I like that. This has more druid energy than anything. And it makes sense because the High Priest has all the best aspects of the Magician card and the High Priestess, and also the Emperor and the Empress. So leadership, magic put together, and now it's sort of like, what do I want to do next? I don't want to do what everyone else has done. That would be the Hierophant upright. But when we reverse this, this is really about looking at something from a different perspective. So if you can be original, singular, unusual, maybe a little bit impulsive, maybe just kind of coming out of left field, this is what's going to stick. This is what's going to make a splash. This is what's going to get people's attention. So applying all of the skills that are part of the High Priest, but flipping the script a little bit and saying, how about if we try it this way this month? And then we can try it your way if it doesn't work out. So the other thing here is you may be asked to challenge a long-standing tradition, a long-standing way of doing things, or even the sort of establishment. And if you are trying to do that, I feel like this is the time for you to succeed there. So rebellious, unusual kind of approaches are going to be kind of like the magical final touch there to making something happen. So yeah, be yourself, be unusual, take an unexpected turn and see where it takes you. All right, let's move on to the next piece here. We're next going to look at blessings and blocks. Much like they sound here, blessings will be something that you can embrace. Blocks will be something that you want to try to avoid or change. So let's begin with pulling the cards first, and then we'll take a look at each. Blessing, block. All right. So let's start with your blessing card first. So for those of you that have been looking for movement or opportunity with the area of relationships or friendship, I see a lot of that here with the Two of Cups. So that's great. If you've been looking for love, not only can we possibly find that, but there's a deep friendship with that too. If you get love, you want to get both the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands, because that's friends and lovers. Now, also, for those of you that aren't focusing on this just shows me partnership. And you can imagine that this is a nice magnetic energy coming through for you, that this is your chance to really kind of like finally bring some good people into your life, some good opportunities into your life as well. So say yes to an invitation. Put yourself out there if there's an opportunity for personal growth. And, thinking about what I was seeing in dreams last night, something that I wish that I could have told to a younger version of myself. If you find yourself in the middle of a change, whether it's a change in what's going on in a family or a job or anything really, you have a say in the change. So if there's a family situation and you want to live with one person or another, maybe you're, maybe your child, or maybe you really want custody of something or someone or whatever, fight for that. If you're in a job, you also have an opportunity to redefine your role if you see changes happening. So sitting at the table and really saying to the other person, I'm in this for the long haul, but I need some support and I need to see some growth and change in this area is what's going to be really, really important here. You've got someone on your side. They've been there all along. We see so many cards of love here. Again, if we just turn the camera down for a second, we have Four of Wands and Four of Cups, but the Four of Cups is really a hidden partnership card. And then we actually have partners showing up here. And then we see positive movement with all of that. So it's good news with respect to partnerships. It's just a question of, are you ready for that? So your blessing right now is relationships, partnerships, cooperation, collaboration. I think it's all good. Are you ready to do all of that? That's the question. So then we have the standing stone here for your block. This is the balance card. And basically it's an opportunity for you to find balance. But as I look really, really close at the front, see the little cobweb here on the spider? Between you and balance is this sort of the web of the past, other people's dramas. There could be a little sticking point that you need to edit. The inscription on this stone reads, harm no one, or none, harm none. So this is your chance to move forward and do the right thing, and make sure that by doing the right thing, it's also not just, you don't have to say something to hurt someone, but you may have to say something important. So you're going to be walking that fine line of using as few words as possible, saying what needs to be said, and getting sort of in and out of a situation. The block is something needs to be set right. So doing so can be tricky. It can be sticky because of that spider web there. Someone is maybe trying to get you tripped up. You're going to walk the straight and narrow path of justice. You're going to bring balance to a situation, and you're going to stand up for yourself, but you're not going to sit there and kind of like say all kinds of stuff that could end up coming back to you or is unnecessary. So brevity is the key to this justice card, and kindness and leading by example. But if there is an injustice in your life, you have every reason to stand up for yourself and to find that justice. Just realize that justice is not blind and justice is not cruel. So finding the balance is important there. Some of you just have to decide, are you going to leave or are you going to stay? Because that's what justice is. If it was reversed, I would know that it was time to move on, right? So the decision is with you. Judgment is a lot easier. You know what to do, or it's been said. Justice, you're still weighing the decision. So indecision, which is also kind of like connected to the Seven of Cups. Don't overthink it. You know what to do. Use your sense, your sixth sense, or whatever else is coming through to say, like, this doesn't smell like it's the right path. All right? So there we go. Let's go ahead now and move on to viewers and readers' choice. What we're going to do, I'm going to slide the cards up here a little bit, and we're going to take a look at some things for you to vote on, and then while you vote, I'll choose some things that I think are worth looking at. So let me go ahead now and grab my keyboard. and let's see what hasn't been talked about, what might deserve a little bit more attention, etc. So just a reminder, if you do want to vote on these polls, you need to be watching it live, and you need to be watching it on a computer or a mobile device. Okay, it does not work on TVs. So viewers' choice. So let's see, as I look at that Six of Pentacles at the center, I think one of the important things will just be balancing resource and making intelligent decisions about that. So balancing resources. Then I'm drawn to the personal growth card here on the side. So finding, creating personal growth. By the way, resources are time and money. Time, energy, and money, but I can't put all of them. Let's see what else is coming through. So there's so much energy around relationships this month. I would love to see if there's general relationship advice. All right, so I'm going to let you vote on all of these options. While you're voting, I'm going to take a look here and see what I'm curious about. So it looks like we have all the suits represented. We have cups, we have swords, we have pentacles, we have wands, so I'm happy to see that. I want to look at this insider-outsider thing that's going on here. How can you be noticed, or what do you need to pay attention to? Because it does look like with the Four of Cups, there could be something you're missing. So what are you missing, or how can you be noticed? They kind of fall together. Let's just see what the card shows me. So for Reader's Choice, we have the Two of Wands, which I love here. Two of Wands in reverse. This is a kind of curious illustration here. We see two like frogs, or, you know, I don't know what kind of frogs they are, but two frogs holding the wands. And then we see someone at the doorstep, and it's hard to see what she's carrying. Not so important here. But what I think I see with this is like a prince and a princess that could be those two frogs here. So when I'm looking at what's going on here is that there's an unsung hero. Like if we take this out of the romantic perspective, there really could be someone that has your best intentions and has your best wishes at heart, but they just, because they've always been there, you could be missing someone or something. So take a look at someone in a different light. This definitely has to do with maybe thanking someone and giving them a leadership possibility if you're in a place and position of power, or if you are a parent or something, giving someone a little bit more responsibility because they are that unsung hero. That's what I get when I look at this. For the rest of you, it's basically going back to the Seven of Cups, which is, what do you want? The Two of Wands is a manifestation card. This is a weird illustration of the Two of Wands. So I'm going to go back to Rider-Waite-Smith for this particular one. Normally, you would see someone, it's a heavy selenite crystal here if you want to know what I'm holding, but you would see someone looking at a globe or a crystal, and they're like either getting the clarity of what they're looking for, or picking a point on the map and saying, I'm here and I want to go here. So figuratively, it's saying, when I know where I'm going, when I know where I'm going as well, then I can get there faster. Then all of the odds are stacked into my favor. So you need to kind of do the Two of Wands gazing into the future and say, what do I really want? I want this, not this. Okay, good. Now that I know what I want, I'm going to hold that close to me, and I'm going to keep doing my work, and I'll kind of go back to this from time to time and reset. So you need that little bit of a reset to make sure that you are clarifying to the universe what you want, and that's going to make it happen a little faster. All right, let's take a look at what is really a tie. So I'll read both because I know that the minute, they're 40-40 right now, these two. But even if they're one off, I'll read it because it's going to be a tie. So let's see. It was number 2 and 3, which got through. Yep, so it's still a perfect tie. Finding and creating personal growth, we'll read first, and then we'll look at general relationship advice. Finding and creating personal growth. All right. How can you succeed? How can you grow? How can things be a little bit more fulfilling for you? Interesting. 10 of Swords on this one. So let's take a look at this one. So again, the question here is personal growth. If you're constantly feeling like you're not getting the support that you need, if you're constantly feeling like people are only focusing on the negative, then this isn't the place to be. This isn't the relationship to focus on. This isn't it. One thing that I see here also is you're not what people have said you were. So sometimes there's a person in your life that is either unimaginative, not tapped in, or just cruel, and they say something and it sticks. I don't want that to stick anymore. I also don't want your fear of failure to hold you back. So ultimately, especially when we're looking at this question, how can you grow? What's the growth opportunity? Well, if I try, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? I never really thought about all of this. It's coming from potentially from you. All the stuff that I was channeling there just a second ago. So if you think you're not young enough, smart enough, pretty enough, rich enough, whatever, all those little swords around the campfire are the ones that you're putting in place. Take them out. That's not necessary. That's not true. The worst that could happen is there could be a delay. You could get some feedback that would help you grow, and eventually you'll do it and you'll do a great job. Setbacks are just opportunities to develop. So you're not going, the only way that you're going to fail is by believing that you'll fail and not trying. If you attempt it and are successful on any level, then take that level of success and build the next time you try it. And keep building until, like a pyramid, you get to the top. That's the answer to this. Stop worrying so much about failing and succeeding. Athletes understand this better than anyone. You have to keep working at it. For me, as I've been hiking more, I remember the first day I did it, I could barely get up to the top of the hill where the hike began. I'm like, oh my God, I'm out of shape. But after a few weeks, it starts to get better and better and better. And then pretty soon you're up at the top and you think, I better do another trail. I did that too quickly. Let's do something else. It doesn't always work the first time. And we're impatient now in a way that we weren't impatient like in the 80s and 90s. Because with the advent of stuff like this, which I love, and my smartwatch, which I keep off because I don't want to be distracted when I'm doing this, like technology's on our wrist, it's on our, on our phone, it's everywhere. So we think everything's immediate. I remember as a kid, you had to go to the library to look at stuff. There was no, I can't say the name of the assistant because one of them's here, but there was no Siri or Alexa around. We had to just sort of dig in and wait a little bit. So patience is what I see here as well. Okay, let's move on to the next question, which was general relationship advice, because I don't always read it. I figured you guys would want to look at that. All right, so what's going through here for, what's coming through for love and for relationships? For your person, and also for you, what's the message for both? All right, so we have the Temperance card here, and Temperance also, it's so funny, we were just talking about patience, is a lot of that, but taking the first step is what I see. And some of you may be rusty, some of you may be afraid, some of you want the other person to take the first step. If that happens, no one's ever going to get out onto the dance floor. Everyone's going to be on the sidelines just kind of bopping around at the school dance. Someone has to ask someone out. Someone has to take the step. So that's you. Don't be a wallflower. Take that step. Also, I really like the way that they show some of the sort of older and traditional cards here. So when we're looking at the High Priest, he's kind of like working on his magical brew there on his potion. And when we're looking here at the Temperance card here, we see the same thing. So you are what you put into this as well. So remember, you've got something intoxicating, alluring, attractive, and worthwhile. Either that person sees it or they don't. But patience is key. And one important message, I've been saying this all along, if it's lukewarm, if you don't feel it, don't do it, whether it's a job or saying yes to a date. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. And that's the message there. But with patience comes friendship, and with friendship, things could develop deeper. But I really want you to feel whatever you're kind of like, from my own experience, I know within moments of meeting someone if there's a physical connection or if it's just intellectual or energetic. I can discern that pretty quickly. Each one of us, I will say this, people can wax and wane though. So someone that I thought was really attractive, if I've known them for years and years and years and they've shown me pieces of their life where I'm like, I'm not so sure about that, they become less attractive. And people that I thought were just generally good looking become much more attractive when they show other parts of their life. But you either have that initial spark or you don't. There has to be something. So the larger version of this is patience. Not losing your temper with someone, being patient with someone's growth, being patient with your own growth. And I think that's the important thing here. Okay, there you go. So let's take a quick look at where we've gone and where we're yet to go here. We've basically been through most of the reading, but we're going to do an exciting portion next, the meditation, sound bath, and final card. Before I get into the final card, let's talk about that as well. If you've many of you, I know you've got a lot going on in your life. There might be additional questions that I didn't have a chance to cover. This is the magical point where we can go a little bit deeper, and I'll look at that. So write it down. We're going to meditate here in just a moment, and then after the meditation, I'll take a look at it. And while we're meditating, you can reach out and sort of say, really show me clarity on this. This is what I'm looking for. So you can home into that and help me tune into you as well. So that's what we'll be doing in just a moment. Just a quick reminder, I don't do this very often in the video, maybe 3 times. So if you're brand new and you like this and you want to see the next round of videos, there's a wonderful way you can do it, and it's right under the video, the subscribe button. So please consider doing that. Again, oftentimes over half, sometimes even more of the people watching have never subscribed. It costs $0, and it's basically just a way to show up on your home feed. And you can like the video as well. You can only do it once. It's not like Facebook where you can do it a few times. Subscribe once per lifetime. All right, social media. You can join me across all these platforms here. I also pinned a link so you know who I am and where I'm at. A reminder, it's usually just my name. I don't have additional accounts. If anyone messages you and offers you something, that's not me. I don't do personal readings anymore, so you can avoid anybody that does that. Block them, report them, and let me know. Finally, if you want to show some support, you can do that after we meditate here by clicking on the super sticker or super chat. On replay, there's an option called super thanks. Well, let's get into the meditation now. So the meditation is going to be a couple of parts here. Before I get set up, I'm going to give you an option to vote for the instrument. We're also going to light a candle for peace on the planet right now because it's something I think is important. So I might do this for the next week or so. But here are the instruments. You can listen to a crystal pyramid or a singing bowl. And it's a glass singing bowl. All right, so either one is fine. While you're voting on that, let's go ahead now, close your eyes and relax a little bit. And actually, we're gonna call in some blessings first, and we'll light one candle for peace, and then we'll get into the meditation. All right, so whether there's difficulty in your life or you're tuning into some of the difficulty that we're experiencing here on the planet right now, take a moment now and let's just ask for peace, protection, and an end to unnecessary conflict on the planet. Again, whether it's someone that you're fighting with or the larger sort of battles that are happening on this planet, there are better things that we can spend our time and energy on. So let's light this candle for peace and prosperity. Okay. Using the light and the energy from the candle that we just lit in the background, I'd like all of you to imagine that there's an inner fire in your heart that has also been illuminated. The question now for you is, what do you want to do with that passion? What do you want to do with that fire? Is there something in your life that you would like to reforge? If you would like to reforge it, let's imagine that we're going to create sort of this beautiful campfire, this beautiful energy where you can take something that was not fitting your life or fitting the mold of you, and you're going to reform it, reshape it like a metal worker would. Or you could imagine that you're like a glass blower and you're going to make something beautiful here with the fire. You could also just watch the energy of the fire break down what was, and you could imagine that you could emerge as a phoenix from the fire. So let's breathe in and connect with the inner flame, the inner fire, which we've just illuminated here in the background as well. On the inhale, I want you to see the light and the energy from that fire enter your spiritual or physical body. On the exhale, see a puff of smoke representing the things that you no longer want. You could say things like, I release the pain from the past. I release the disappointment. I release the need to be perfect. I release all the things that weigh me down, hold me back, or make me feel like I am somehow less than who I am or what I could be. And then feel the energy and the fire and the strength of that light in front of you. Work with the light, dance with the light. Imagine perhaps again that you are the phoenix rising from the ashes of all the things in the past, and decide what you want to do with that. At the very end, we'll connect all of our light on the planet as well, bringing more peace. But in this moment, I want you to work on yourself a little bit. I'm going to go ahead now and play an instrument here, the glass singing bowl. And after I do that, we'll do one last benediction or blessing, and then we'll look at your final card. Seeing your light shine brightly, whether you're here on the planet or you're in that form of the phoenix flying, it doesn't matter. I want you to imagine that you could basically rise above your body right now and look at the planet from afar, maybe imagining that you're glimpsing it from the moon, and see all the light, see all the points of light connecting and creating one gigantic bright bulb in the sky, just as bright as the sun, shining and showing everyone and everything that there is a brighter and a better way to move forward. So let's just bring some peace and love to the planet, and let's encourage everybody's energy to just be improved one small degree. If that's all we do in this meditation, then we've succeeded. So see that peace, see that solidarity, and see that prosperity basically blanketing the planet, and then slowly re-enter your body and take a deep breath. Rub your hands together, put your hand on your heart, and seal in that intention for personal growth, for prosperity, and for peace. We'll move along now to the final card. At this point, whatever question you have for me, I'd be happy to take a look at it. So say it aloud, think about it, keep it in your head, and let's see what Spirit wants to bring through. Okay, so we have the Emperor here. In this particular deck, it's the Horned God. What's cool about this particular Emperor is how connected he is to everything, and it feels like all the different totems that we've been looking at and talking about are all together here. So as a question, as a yes-no question, what I would say with this is yes, but you have to believe in yourself. And you can't listen so much to what other people are saying, because the Emperor reverse can indicate boss, parent, friend, someone in your life that seems to want to hold the keys to your power. So you've always had the capacity to do this, but someone else is in your headspace and saying you can't. So you can, but you have to believe that you can. As a general advice card, it's saying you need to take accountability, take swift action, and really be in the driver's seat. The reversal of this card also shows that many of you might be dealing with a power struggle. And so again, this basically boils down to, do you believe in yourself enough? And are you willing to sort of go head to head with somebody? And I believe that it's really a battle that doesn't have to be fought with anything other than intellect here. When I'm looking at how in sort of like Druid and pagan and older sort of traditions, when you see horns on the head of somebody, it was the equivalent of a halo, because it's sort of like you tuning in. These are pretty darn big horns. I would say for this is showing maturity and wisdom beyond your own expectations. So this is a battle of the minds, not the battle of the fists. So using a diplomatic approach to resolving like a conflict at work, even if you're having a problem with a billing situation or something, being smart, being diplomatic, being just sort of like as articulate as you can. It's not all about the big words, it's about the right words. So really focus on choosing your words well. And I think that's going to be important, okay? There is somebody that you're working with or someone, it could also be a bank or institution, that seems to just be very much by the book. So you're going to have to present your case carefully. But generally, the emperor would be a yes, but there's a little bit of a power struggle at play. Focus on personal growth this month and trusting what you're picking up on as well with those antennae. Okay, or antlers in this case. That, my friends, was a lovely way to kind of wrap up this month and start the next month. A couple of quick notes here. I'll say thank you to everybody in just a moment that gave back. One final opportunity for you to show support with a like or a subscribe. Again, you can join me on social media. My website will be updated by tomorrow, by the 1st, with the new schedule for the upcoming month. And then again, if you would like to show some support, you can do that now. Let me end this with some gratitude. By the way, before I do that, my schedule's pretty predictable. I will be back on Thursday and Friday this week with Aries and Taurus. So sometime today, I will put those times up. Again, this week only, possibly next week, it depends. I have a little bit of weirdness with my schedule where I might have to shift it into the afternoon or evening. So I'll still have it on the same day, but absolutely turn on your notifications for this month coming up, because there may be a little bit of schedule differences. Hopefully not, but some things are out of my control on that. So I'll just try to manifest that I can keep the same time. All right, so let's now say thank you to everybody. All right, if you are brand new, welcome. As I said, I'm here every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Friday, and occasionally for some impromptus as well. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw here. For my longtime viewers, good to see you again. Appreciate your support, especially those of you that are Patreon and members here as well. Patreon patrons and members, thank you for that. Speaking of that, I'm going to just give a little bit of shout out to anybody that joined as a new member today or gave back with a super sticker or super chat. So let's start first with the new members. So this will be anybody that joined in the last 12 hours or so. Let's see who's new. All right, looks like we have someone called Wendy Scott. Thank you so much. Brand new member, never a member before. It's good to have you here. And then we have Acufacial Admin. Thank you so much for 11 months and for rejoining after that 11 months. I appreciate it. And I believe I already thanked Darwin yesterday, rejoining after 2 months. Actually, there's a couple of new ones. I'll make sure that I said these: Van and Sheila Compton and Ready Now. Thank you to all of you for joining or rejoining. All right, let's go ahead now and say thank you to anybody that gave a super sticker or super chat. Let me see what's going on here. All right, Pisces. So let's begin with Lauren Baiko, I think it is. Thank you so much for kicking things off today. Wendy Scott, not only for the contribution, but also for the membership. I just said your name, I remember that. Lori Piccini, thank you very much. Becky Simon, I think it is. Thank you as well. Michelle Hardman, Rose Miller, Benita Clark, Wendy Scott again, thank you for the 2 contributions and the membership. Grace R. and Scott Goyen. And let's see if I missed anybody. A couple of late ones here as well. So thank you very much, Grace R. and Scott. I did say your name as well, Scott. Thank you so much. And thank you, Yvette, for 5 months of membership as well. Hopefully you enjoyed today. I know sometimes you guys want me to do it at the beginning, but the truth of the matter is by the end of the month, my intuition and my third eye is wide open. So I actually think Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpius, and Libra, you get among some of the best readings because I've been doing it all month. So I hope you enjoyed today, and I'll see you later this week, and I'll see you every Sunday as well if you're ready and willing to show up. Lots of love and light. Thanks to Maria for her help with moderating today. Have a great month ahead and a great week ahead. We have a new moon coming up, so I may do something for that, schedule permitting, so keep an eye out for a potential impromptu somewhere. All right, till then, much love and light, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and make today a great day. Okay, bye-bye.